let me introduce Ruth Berlin to you. Ruth founded the Maryland Pesticide Network in 1994, and the network became the nonprofit organization, the Maryland Pesticide Education Network, in 2014. Ruth became a grassroots activist after she and her son were poisoned by pesticides sprayed aerially for fruit fly eradication in Southern California in 1990. And again, by the same neurotoxic pesticide, malathion, after a move to Maryland in 1990. And her work on the issue of pesticides and her success in bringing together diverse coalitions of state and national groups and businesses concerned about the impact of pesticides on public health and the environment has been recognized locally and nationally. And as a practicing psychotherapist for over 50 years, Ruth brings her understanding of group dynamics and healthy communication to her work at the Maryland Pesticide Education Network. So we thought that given the climate that we're all facing right now, that maybe we would take a few minutes and just come together as a community to talk about some practices for dealing with what we refer to as VUCA. VUCA. Yeah, you may have seen this acronym. It's popular in the organizational literature right now. At any given time, the levels of volatility, uncertainty, complexity, and ambiguity are in front of us. And sometimes it's at a lower level, and sometimes it's really raging. It's really in front of us, and so many things are uncertain and changing, and we're facing new complexities and ambiguities. And it can be tough. It can be really tough. But our hope is that we can learn some techniques and tactics, find some things that work for us individually to help us deal with times when we're facing a lot of VUCA. And that kind of seems to be descriptive of where we are right now. So we thought we would tap into Ruth's amazing expertise on how to deal with difficult times. And so, Ruth, go ahead and take it away and share some of those tactics with us.
Thank you, Greg. We all are currently living in uncertain and challenging times, which not only impact our blood pressure, but impact our overall well-being, our body, our hearts, our minds. So today I want to share a few practices with you all that don't take much time and can be integrated into your daily life to reduce anxiety, frustration, dread, especially uncertainty, and other feelings that can overwhelm us. So to start with, we all breathe. But anxiety, for example, can adversely impact our breathing, interrupting oxygen getting to our brain. Deep, slow belly breathing is an essential practice that we tend not to do well, especially under stress. There are several breathing practices that are relaxation techniques based on deep breathing, which when practiced for just a few minutes a day have been shown to calm our nervous system and help us cope with stress, ease panic and worry, and encourages deep diaphragmatic breathing, which along with increasing oxygen intake can actually even regulate our blood pressure. So square breathing, for example, involves a structured pattern of inhaling on a count of 4. 1, 2, 3, 4 through the nose, holding our breath for a count of 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, exhaling on a count of 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, and holding that exhale. 1, 2, 3, 4. So doing this practice for a few rounds, just a couple of minutes, can actually make a difference. We need to remember when doing this kind of a breathing practice to expand the belly as we breathe in, contract the belly as we breathe out. Next slide. Some folks may actually prefer Dr. Andrew Weil's 4-7-8 breathing practice. It's slightly different from the square breathing. We inhale slowly through our nose for a count of 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold the breath for a count of 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And exhale slowly through our mouth for a count of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And you just repeat this cycle several times. 4-7-8 is based on ancient yogic breathing practices and can be used just like square breathing before bed, on awakening, on a work break, and generally in any stressful moment. So if you're up to it, join me now for a few minutes just in trying out 3 rounds of 4-7-8 breathing. So with me, I'm going to breathe through the nose slowly. 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold for a count of 7. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Exhale out of the mouth for 8, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Through the nose. 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold 7, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Exhale through the mouth for 8, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And repeat. In through the nose. 2, 3, 4. Hold 7, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Exhale. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Inhale through the nose. 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Exhale. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Great. So doing a breathing exercise like 4-7-8 or square breathing, even just 6 rounds, we just did 3, but even just 6 rounds just takes a couple of minutes and can make a difference and impact the state of your body, your emotions, and the state of your thoughts. Next slide. Speaking of thoughts, emotional freedom technique, EFT for short, but really known as tapping, is a self-help method that combines actually acupressure points in our body with verbalizing and focusing on specific stressful emotions or issues that we're dealing with to reduce our stress and anxiety. It works. In this practice, we tap on acupressure points, as you see in this diagram, on our face and body while speaking affirmations and statements, which send calming signals to the brain's stress response centers. This combination of physical stimulation and focused thought aims to help the mind and the body rebalance, leading to emotional release and a greater sense of calm and control. Each point, each acupressure point, is also associated with an organ in our bodies. So just tapping on these points is actually very good for those organs in our body as well. Many studies have been conducted on the efficacy of tapping. You can find tapping videos online, and I've also shared my own tapping instructions in the chat. One option is the Tapping Solution. It's an online app that provides easy to follow tapping practices. So to give you a very brief experience of tapping, I'm going to share a guided 2.5-minute tapping solution practice to just give you a taste of how tapping can be helpful. In tapping, you pinpoint a special or a specific problem, like fear or dread, or problems with memory, or anger, or a physical issue, and so on. But today we're going to focus on the emotion of uncertainty. First, you will be guided to acknowledge the issue of uncertainty by tapping first on acupressure points on the side of your hand. Just follow the instructions in this video that will guide you through the points to tap and what to speak or repeat silently to yourself as you tap on each point. Tapping sends signals to the brain, specifically the amygdala, which is the brain's fight or flight center, and it helps to calm the stress response. This process helps to actually rewire our thinking and release emotional patterns, allowing for a calmer state of mind and heart if practiced regularly. Generally, most tapping sessions last anywhere from 8 to 12 minutes, some less, some longer, but today we're going to do a brief sampling. Next slide. So now I invite you to join us for this brief tapping experience.
Tapping on the side of the hand, repeat after me, either in your mind or out loud. Even though I'm feeling uncertain, I choose to find peace in this moment. Moving to the eyebrow point, I may not know what's ahead. Side of the eye, but I can rest in the here and now. Under the eye, I find stability within myself. Under the nose, I trust I can navigate whatever comes. Under the mouth, but for now, I rest. Collarbone, each breath brings me more peace. Under the arm, I can sit with uncertainty. Top of the head, and still be okay. Take a gentle breath in and exhale.
I hope you felt your shoulders drop just a little bit. Next slide. And lastly, understanding that we all have an inner family of selves, a lot of different eyes that we identify with during the course of our day can be a very helpful awareness. We can learn to be the bus driver and monitor and manage our various inner family of selves on the bus instead of them taking turns driving the bus and managing us, thereby gaining greater self-awareness and increasing our conscious choices. In a process called voice dialogue, the psychology of the selves, developed by my mentors, Jungian psychologist Helen Sidra Stone, we become aware of when and which one of ourselves that we identify with any given moment in time, and aware of their impacts on us when we unconsciously identify with them. These are selves we generally all have inside of us that, unbeknownst to us, we identify with and act from. They include our inner critic, we all have one, and we all have a catastrophic fantasizer, as well as an inner protector, a vulnerable child we came into the world with, a wise self, a responsible parent, a pleaser, and other selves that actually relate to VUCA. Volatility evokes our fragile self. I'm not capable of handling this changing world. Uncertainty evokes the fearful self due to lack of predictability. Complexity can evoke our overwhelmed self, it's all too much. And ambiguity can evoke the confused self due to lack of clarity. We literally, unconsciously, identify with various inner selves at different moments in time. And it's especially worth knowing about our inner critic who tends to tell us how we're just not good enough, and our catastrophic fantasizer who's focused on potential impending catastrophes near and far. These two selves especially are now dominant in many of us, given the current world challenges and uncertainties. In brief, the goal is to move from being unknowingly, unconsciously identified with specific selves to developing more of that bus driver, or to think of it as a chairman or chairwoman of our inner board of selves that can hold the tension of these different parts on the bus or at a board table and guide us towards greater balance. Next slide. By being aware of when we're identified with these different parts of us, our inner board chair is able to better manage them and able to access the wise self to reality check what this self is saying, rather than them managing us. So borrowing from this Jungian-based approach, there's a brief four-step exercise I found to be quite helpful that can be utilized again at any given moment. First, we identify, what am I mainly feeling in this moment? What is one emotion that I'm aware of that I have felt or I'm feeling right now? Fear, frustration, anger, grief, inadequacy, whatever. Then we ask ourselves, what's the thought that's creating this feeling I'm experiencing now? All feelings are a result of our thoughts. So let's say my thought is, my future's uncertain, I'm worried about supporting my family. Every thought like that is produced by some part or self in us. So the third question is, who in me created that thought? Was it the inner critic or the catastrophic fantasizer, the vulnerable child, the pleaser, my protector, responsible part, the fragile, fearful, or overwhelmed or confused self, or any one of those selves, or some other board member within me? Then the last question is, what's the reality check from the wisest part of me about this self's thoughts and consequent feeling? And is there a legitimate need that that self has that needs to be addressed by me, the chair? We do this with the awareness that the part that's asking these four questions is our inner board chair, who, with the assistance of the wise self at the board table, can better understand our inner landscape, reality check our thoughts from a wise perspective, negotiate between our inner selves different needs and behaviors, and can help us to move beyond automatic patterns to make more conscious decisions. So let's just take a moment, if you're willing. Identify an emotion you've had in the past 24 hours. Just one, no doubt you've had a few. Now see if you can identify the thought that created that emotion, that feeling. Take a minute. And now try to identify who in you created that thought. Give that self, that part, a name. Lastly, imagine this wise self sitting very close to your inner board chair, and as the chair, ask that wise self, what's the reality check on this thought or belief that this part of me is holding? And is there a legitimate need that needs to be addressed? This takes practice. It takes a while to use this four-step process. And doing so over time increases our ability to ensure that certain selves don't take over the board chair seat and run us, but rather affords us greater self-awareness and ability to oversee and manage our inner family of selves. Lastly, taking a few minutes daily and even identify one thing we're grateful for can make a difference in improving our emotional, mental state and our resilience. May we all better manage our inner selves and uncertainty in these times. Thank you.
Amazing. Ruth, thank you so much for sharing your expertise and helping us build some coping skills. And congratulations on a 50-year career of helping people feel better. I mean, that is really something amazing. So thanks again for sharing your expertise here. We heard about breathing exercises, the emotional freedom tapping exercise, and our personal board of directors. Boy, is that a useful framework to think about the voices that we hear in our minds.
All the time, Greg.
Yeah, and especially when VUCA is high, because that invokes a lot of emotions of fear and worry.
Yeah.
That's probably the time that we need these techniques the most.